Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another wonderful year of Ask Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada the Engineer. With me is Mr. Lady Ada. We're broadcasting here from the Adafruit factory in downtown Manhattan. Wow, it's so beautiful, it's so amazing. Yay, America! Where we make amazing, wonderful electronics. We test, fabricate, ship, support, document, all those electronics that you know and love here in the Adafruit factory. And that's where we're at.
That's true.
And you can see it behind us. It's real, it's not a backdrop. Got an exciting show for you tonight. It's going to be the most jam-packed show of the year.
Well,
we've only had two.
Yeah, but so far, off to a good start. 10 days in.
Yeah, we're really kicking some butt here. So
Yeah.
let's show what's on tonight's show.
Okay, on tonight's show, the code's Bradford. I'll talk about why later. Code's Bradford, 10% off everything in the Adafruit store except for gift certificates and AIDA Box. Use that code before 11:59 p.m. tonight, and you'll save. It helps support us, an open source hardware company, like Lady Ada was saying, in Manhattan. Can you believe we make all this stuff? Here's the people who do it. So when you purchase something, you're helping us. Show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects and more. Lady Ada will talk about what was on the show tonight. Pack the Mailbag's going to stop by, read your emails to us. Time travel, look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, past, future, news. Just about everything's in there now. Factory footage. Things around the Adafruit factory that we put a camera on. Nimbus, friendly cloud entity. We'll talk a little bit about Adafruit I/O. 3D printing, videos this week. A little bit of Raspberry Pi news. New products. We'll answer your questions on Discord. Maybe make sure you go to adafruit.it/discord. That's where we do this. We have a top secret. We have a trivia question. We're going to give away something. All that and more on, you guessed it,
Beep, beep, beep.
Ask an Engineer. All right. Well, as we were saying, this is a code. Write it down. Share it. Tell everybody. I turn it off after I remember. So sometimes, well, you know, we work a lot. Little programming note. This is Ask an Engineer. You like it?
Yeah.
Every Wednesday we do this at 8 p.m. and we also do the show and tell at 7:30. And of course, we're on Discord. That's where we can only do all the questions. So if you have a question, go to Discord.
It's a friendly, wonderful place.
It's the only way to get to them. Okay, Lady Ada, we changed our free stuff. So
we did.
Why don't you talk about what's free now?
Now, people took advantage of the freebies. We gave away like tens of thousands of freebies.
Yes.
Holidays are over, so we're going to kind of slide into a more relaxed freebies situation. We still have the $100 or more free PermaProto half-size breadboard. You still get that. At $200 or more, free UPS ground shipping in the continental U.S. And at $300 or more, you'll get a free Circuit Playground Express. Those are the freebies that are available right now. Maybe there'll be more freebies later, but that's what we got. But we definitely have them.
Okay. And
there's no more trinket or gemma. We're done.
Does the discount code work with that?
Yes. It's like after. It's kind of after the discount code.
That's amazing.
So you can use the discount code and get freebies.
Wow. That's a good deal.
It'll do the math for you. It'll even tell you like $10 more to get it.
Yeah, we have the card. It's like the card's like, hey, I'm here to help. Okay. Next up, don't forget, if you're in Manhattan and you're checking out 4:11 a.m., we have same-day shipping to many zip codes in Manhattan. I want to mention a couple things.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of shipping, speaking of buying stuff, speaking of all this.
Yeah.
You know, back in 2013,
yeah,
we started accepting Bitcoin. We even have this graphic. This was before everyone was blockchain in the codex. And so, anyways, we accept Bitcoin. And I'll talk about Bitcoin again and blockchain a little bit tonight. But we accept this. We have BitPay. I am not sure if people spend Bitcoin anymore. I think they save it.
It's really hard to spend.
I think they save it, and they're like, one day this will be worth so much.
Well, the thing is, I think it's expensive. Like it's no longer nearly free to get a transaction verified, and it fluctuates a lot. So it's actually really
it's like writing a check. You got to wait now.
Yeah, it's quite complicated. So, but we do still support it. If you have Bitcoins and you want to spend them on electronics, we will accept it through BitPay.
Yeah.
I think there's just a limit of $100 minimum per order.
Yeah. They change. BitPay changed it.
BitPay changed it. That's not up to us.
So we've been doing this forever. I'll do a chart later of Bitcoin transactions on our site over the entire time.
Yeah.
We'll be coming up on like 4 years. We're OB, original Bitcoin.
Yeah, and if you're excited about blockchain stuff, we got even more coming up.
Yeah, we have some things to talk about.
More blockchain news.
Sort of, kind of. Okay. For shipping stuff, we got UPS. This is the one that's suggested for continental U.S.
Reliable.
Yeah.
Tracked.
Yeah.
Well known.
Yeah. We also added postal for all 50 states.
Good if you want it in your mailbox.
Yeah.
Not tracked as much.
Yeah, sometimes there's delays. Don't blame us.
Sometimes faster,
We try our
sometimes a
best.
lot slower.
If there is a state that once again has like less than, like 99% the mail gets to them, because we keep track of this stuff,
Yeah.
we might say like, okay, this state, like, they got to get their stuff
You
together.
got to put them on pause.
Postal probation.
Postal probation.
Okay. And then, of course, this was kind of the big thing that we did not too long ago. We have pretty much almost all worldwide shipping with DHL, sales through customs, prepaid, everything. So we got our international game on. That was a big deal for us. We wanted to make sure we can get everything to everyone, because there's some resellers in other countries, they don't stock all our stuff. And so what happens is they tell the reseller in another country, the reseller orders stuff from us, and it's just like, well, by the time they get it and the cost and everything, you can just order it from us directly. That's the way to do it.
Great.
Okay.
So now we have 3 options.
Many options. Well, 4, because if you're in Manhattan, you get
and
same
then
day.
delivery.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot that. You just told me about it.
Also, you can go to like DigiKey and order all our stuff.
or you can walk into Micro Center.
Walk in the Micro Center. Okay. Next up, here's a reminder. On Monday, Adafruit's closed. It is Martin Luther King Day. This is a quote. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity, importance, and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. So this is something that we did as soon as we had like staff and people. Martin Luther King Day is one of the most uniquely American holidays. And here's my request for the folks out there. It's a federal holiday.
It is.
The government recognizes it, and they're off, but a lot of private businesses don't. And this is your chance. If you're an employee, because we're an employer, if we didn't do this, the employee should say, hey, like, this is an important day. And so there's the Day of Service page that you, in the Twitter account that the Martin Luther King, I think it's foundation has. And every year up until recently, Apple would take over their page and they have like, Think Different, and had like a picture of Martin Luther King. And they didn't give the day off to the team members. And eventually an article came out and they're like, okay, like we're gonna revisit this. Because it's like, here we're using this image, this person who's been so important, and we're selling computers. That's Apple has used many famous people in their advertising.
Yeah.
So it seems like in that particular case, that'd be good to have the day off. Some companies do float or whatever, but if you're at a company, this is like besides 4th of July, which we kind of have to do because it's like every nation has its Independence Day. What other ones are uniquely American that can only be American? It's Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one that's more us.
It's the most American.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my little request, because
But every country has Independence Day.
That's by default. And so there's things that we've wanted to do as we've grown as a company, Adafruit, that we're hoping people copy us. One was paid time off for charity. The other one is like there's important holidays that a company could signal to their employees, hey, this is important. Good day to reflect. Good day to do things. Some companies have floats for all the holidays. We've done that. So it just depends. But I think it matters. Anyways, that's my thing. AIDA Box is shipping soon. If you want to get an AIDA Box, you need to sign up now. This is AIDA Box 007 coming out.
Yep.
I have a video.
Show it.
Sign up or miss out. And from what I understand, the fear of missing out is the worst thing that can happen to anyone right now.
If you miss out, it's
like
terrible.
You're scrolling down the feed and you're like, oh no, I could have been part of this.
It's fun.
But
it's by the way, it's the best and only maker box that has like this much electronics, comes out of a quarter.
Give it as a gift to a kid, a young person. This might be the thing that starts their electronic journey.
Yeah.
We need to make more engineers, scientists, artists, people who like cool stuff like this.
And we think really hard about making each box super fun.
Okay. Next up, show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects, releasing new operating systems, playing music,
Costuming.
everything.
Also,
What was on the show? What was on the show?
Okay, we had a lot of people on the show. We kicked it off with some Adafruit folks, John Park. He's working on an emoji costume for someone who wants to dress up as the blowing wind emoji. He's also working on a coin acceptor mod for his Picade. I think he did that video last week, and then he's going to be working on it this week. Phil B is working on Fancy LED, a Circuit Python library that lets you do some of the things that Fast LED library for Arduino does. Maybe a little bit different, but lets you at least port code or do similar things with gradients. So he showed off an LED gradient demo. Noah and Pedro have their 3D Hangouts project, the LED Sand. We'll show that off soon as a video as well. Blitz City made an OK synth. It's just okay. No, it's actually pretty cool. It's just called, I guess it's called the OK synth. It's an analog synth. I think it uses like a kit. Maybe there's a microcontroller inside of it. It's 3D printed. It was a kind of neon looking. It has a Casio tone effect. Sounds really cool. Coding Pro built a robot kit from AIDA Box 02, so you don't want to miss out on that. If you had subscribed to AIDA Box 02, you'd be like, oh, I know all about the robot kit. But if you missed out, then I don't tell you. And is also working on a mystery box with a magnetic switch and a Gemma M0 and a servo that locks the box when there's no magnet. Tony Sherwood is the coolest DM with his custom kitchen table with an embedded 4K TV that's Pi-powered, and it shows the map for his D&D campaign for his crew. So when they come over, like, they can customize the table. It's under like a glass, and he's going to work on a bezel, and there's like a Raspberry Pi Zero controlling it. Then maybe upgrade to a Pi 3. JMK OS. JMK showed up, talked about JMK OS 1.8, just got released, and is also working on a watch case for their watch. Maybe like have a bigger watch that like gets recycled, maybe use a different tiny screen, and also added a 10-second sleep mode. So that's kind of nice, save power. Also like looks cool. So keep up on that. And download JMK OS 1.8, out today. Yep. GB has an ALU update. He's building his own CPU. He's added a lot recently. I think last we checked, I think we had a 4-bit adder. Now we have bootstrap loader, ROM banks, registers, instructions. It was like loading knobs. It was like doing quite a lot. So this ALU is improving leaps and bounds every week. Bob Jaku has the Tensegrity tower that he built about a month ago with LEDs, and it like has these cool LED effects. I think there was a gift to a family member. It's done, but he showed a video with this beautiful Tensegrity structure. Really cool looking. Very like triangular. Samuel is going to build a really big 3D printer with some T-slot extrusion and made DIY bushings because like getting bushings online is too expensive. Just using low density polyethylene. Got some tubes, cut them, sanded them down. They're doing well as bushings. So I was going to try that out as a T-slot extrusion technique. And then Adam has his scanning electron microscope working. The Geo is up and running. He's looking at the CCS 811, which we sent him. He's also going to look at the LED strips that we put in the store last week, the really flexible ones. To have the LED slurry, so he's going to see if he can delaminate it and take a look at this LED slurry.
That'd be cool.
That'd be very cool. That's show and tell.
That's it.
Yeah.
All participants on the show and tell get an as seen on the show and tell sticker. Email support@adafruit.com if you're 13 or under, have a adult-like entity email for you. Okay, that's part of our Adafruit live series of shows. We do that every single week. We have a lot of stuff going on with Circuit Python.
That's right.
So check the blog. I think last week we did our roundup of top blog posts of 2017. Number 1 post. Beta
release
of Circuit Python. So we're getting ready for 3.0 soon. So hop in the Discord.
Then we got a bunch of libraries in this week.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Guides.
Yeah. And then
I'm writing some tutorials. Will be out soon, so check it out. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people in Discord.
Yeah.
Chatting, helping each other. Our big library sweep is almost done.
Yeah.
So
it's code
we're moving.
plus community. If you have a Circuit Playground Express, do plug it in to your computer. Do go to makecode.adafruit.com and do try this out. This is our partnership with Microsoft. It's open source. You drag blocks around. You can flip to JavaScript. Super easy way. It's the thing that JP used to do the real emoji. So really fast, and it makes you, especially if you're an experienced programmer too, you can start to think in blocks and more. So we'll have more of those types of projects. If you're adventurous, you can also check out Moo. It's new.
Yep.
And it's a Python code editor. When you plug our boards in, you get a choice. Do you want to use Circuit Python? Yeah. Microbit? Yeah, maybe. Or just regular old Python 3. Yeah.
Lots of options.
And the reason I like it is because I like the REPL to do real-time stuff, and then I like the code editor there, and when I hit save, it automatically saves the Circuit playground, and then it starts over, and then the program's running. That's cool. So we like that. All right.
Very efficient, very fast.
Yep.
We have binaries for Moo now. And if you look in the...
We have binaries.
We have binaries, and we're... Nick Toll and I are chatting about the plotter. So
Speaking of Nick Toll, we have his book. We're going to talk about that later.
We do.
Yeah. Okay. Pack in the mailbag. We read these emails that you send us every single week in our all-company meeting. State of the Fruit this week. This one comes from Brent. Brent says, thank you. You folks are amazing. You shipped my order in 4 minutes after the start of your workday, 8:04 a.m. EST. After watching Ask an Engineer last night, I realized Christmas is quickly approaching, and where better to buy my Christmas presents, plus a few things I wanted to play with beyond than Adafruit. My order is estimated to arrive Tuesday, well before I leave for the holiday. I have 3 days of snow buffer. Woo, what a relief. Happy holidays to you and the entire Adafruit team. Thank you for your tremendous support, Brent.
Thanks, Brent.
We ship fast.
Yay.
Towards the end of the show, we're going to take your call, and that's how we do the trivia question. The phone number is OHM-BIT-STAB. Write it down. Figure out what the numbers are. It's like a secret code, but it dials a phone. Yeah. Okay. The code's Bradford. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Because
if you've been wondering.
It's now time for time travel.
Okay. So why...
Okay.
What is it?
Do you know who this person is?
No.
You don't know who this person is?
No. Looks like an engineer.
He's some guy who's on the street. It's like a soda. No. This is kind of big news. IEEE gives the Medal of Honor to a GPS pioneer.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, Life Fellow Bradford W. Parkinson will receive the 2018 IEEE Medal of Honor for fundamental contributions in leadership in developing and designing and driving the early application of global positioning systems, also known as GPS. Not fusion GPS, which I've heard is happening right now in the news. This is real satellites and real things. It's not a dossier.
This is the thing that people are using.
Yeah.
They're GPSing.
Okay, so Colonel in the Air Force, Parkinson was selected in 1972 to lead a program to develop a new space-based navigation system named Chief Architect. Designed GPS, served as the first director of the Joint Services GPS Development Program Office, part of the Department of Defense. Cool. So 2018, getting the very special IEEE Medal of Honor. That's a cool Medal of Honor.
That's a cool Medal of Honor.
All right, so congratulations. That's why the code's Bradford. Celebrating a cool engineer.
Bradford.
Yeah.
Parkinson.
Yep. Okay.
Nice.
Other stuff in time travel. We went and saw some art. Lady Ada.
Some killer robots.
Yeah, so this is SRL, Survival Research Laboratories. They've been around forever, and they have like robots, and the robots like burn stuff, and they're art bots, and it's like kind of a commentary, I think, of this Mad Max world where maybe robots, maybe the robots fight back.
In this one, the robots definitely are not your friend.
The robots are like, look, we've had enough. The robots are like...
The robots, you have to respect them.
Well, the robots are like, look, I saw that new Justin Timberlake video. That's not happened to my friends.
Nope.
So,
I will put a 2x4 through your head.
Yeah, so we have some photos. We had it on the blog, and lots of art, lots of history of SRL. All the bots were there. They're for sale. This was in an art gallery, and we also
can buy it. It's bought $3 million. You get this bot.
And we also made a video. We have 360 videos, but here's a video that's not 360 because you're probably just watching it in 2D now. Okay, so that's SRL. It's
That was a
loud.
good time.
Yeah. So other segment in time travel. No, this isn't a repeat from last year. It's another year. No women CEOs solo keynotes. What's a keynote? Normally considered a keynote at CES, and this has happened year after year. I used to go to CES I think I went for like 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
And things have changed. It's like they're like, okay, no more booth babes. Get it? It seems like that's another missed opportunity. If you look at what's going on at CES, there's many people that could have keynoted that were completely relevant to the topics at hand for drones, for consumer electronics. So anyways, I think this year they said, okay, sorry, we're going to double down. 2019 is going to be different. So we'll see, because I've done this story a few times, and it's consumer electronics.
Well,
surely they can find one person that's not like the CEO of Intel. Nothing against CEO of Intel, but like you gotta reach out.
I know they really do have the CEO of
Gotta
Intel
reach out.
constantly. I think that's his full-time job.
Going to keynotes, yeah. So today the power went out, and then there was like a flood at CES.
That's great.
I'm not saying this is a signal, but like, hey, like maybe like I don't know, like because we kind of got blamed for all of the TVs getting turned off at CES one year.
Yeah, well,
and mostly because I sent TV Begons to Gizmodo, and they proceeded to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't say directly do that. I wasn't there.
No, but I mean, like you
this power outage.
You aided and abetted. This power outage has nothing to do with you.
I did not make a CS Begon.
You did not do that.
Okay.
This was all there.
Yeah.
This is on them.
All right. So, remember I was talking about Bitcoin at the beginning of the show?
Okay. So then you're like, why are you talking about Bitcoin?
All right. So we had a Bitcoin to our site years ago. It's going to be 5 years coming up soon.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin's been in the news a lot. And it's in the news for some weird reasons. So the first reason is like, hey, if you add the word like blockchain or you say something, so Kodak is now going to have blockchain photos, which like, okay, and the stock price shot up. There's a iced tea company that changed their name to like blockchain iced tea or something, and the stock shot up. And so it seems like right now, if you want to get interest in your thing, just say blockchain. Mm-hmm. There's a really good article. I'm going to post it on the blog later about when to use blockchain. When does it make sense? They actually broke it down. Like, do you have like trusted databases, or what are the things that you're doing?
It's rarely what people want to use it for.
Okay. So,
okay.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This happened yesterday. So I'm tuning into the news at CES, and Mark Hatch was formerly the CEO of TechShop. Yeah. TechShop that's sort of bankrupt. Whatever. Look at our interview. We interviewed one of the folks that are trying to restart TechShop. TechShop, $22 million in debt in some way. So Mark Hatch wrote this book, Maker Manifesto, and then like Maker Movement. And I'm going to do a little bit of book review. I'm going to see if he wants to do an interview. But he was interviewed it was called Gary's Book Corner. And Gary Shapiro is the president and CEO of CES. So they have this like book club and they interview you. Basically say like, you just do your book pitch.
Yeah.
But this was more about his announcement, I think. So there's two things I learned that was interesting. One, he's introduced as the guy behind the Maker Movement, which I'll probably write about that later because I think it's dangerous to say one person is responsible for the Maker Movement.
I definitely don't think it's him.
And it's debated.
Even if it was.
Yeah, I mean, like, as everyone started, and the books I'm working on this review, when you're up on stage and you're saying, or even someone else is saying, like, oh, you're the guy behind the Maker Movement, you're the father of the Maker Movement, or any of those things, I think it's important to say who was there, who helped. And Sherry Huss and Louise, they ran Maker Faire.
And all themselves,
basically. And they're kind of getting erased out of the Maker story. And I'm reviewing these books, and Mark tells these stories about Make and stuff, and there's people that are mentioned and there's people that aren't. So anyways, there's now, his announcement was, one, he's on the board of Make, two, that there's this Maker token, Maker blockchain. So here we are. The Maker Movement now has blockchain.
That's what we're missing.
It's called Maker Revolution, and it's a way to fund maker spaces. Maybe that's why TechShop didn't work out, but it's why the Maker blockchain platform will be revolutionary. So you'll be able to verify your skills via the blockchain, and you'll be able to get money via some coins. So they're going to do an ICO, initial coin offering. So I'm going to watch this story because I thought I was finished with the TechShop story, and then this came up.
Yeah.
And I'm a little reluctant to say this is a good idea yet. Especially if the last thing you did was Tech Shop is $22 million in debt. I know, let's start a ICO and get maker spaces. So anyways, I started the post. I'm going to follow it up. I got this book review thing that's been sitting in my drafts folder for a while. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Open source hardware. We're an open source hardware company. We're not a blockchain company yet. Lady Ada, what was on the big board this week?
Okay. We had a bunch of new guides. So we had Dave Estells wrote that how to make DIY circuit playground shields. So using some perf board, a drill, and some screws, you can basically make a little prototyping area for your Circuit Playground Express. That's the guide down here. We have the guide for the Itsy Bitsy 32U4. So we have the 3 volt and the 5 volt version. We got that guide out. Motorized camera slider Mark III. That's last week's 3D Hangouts project. You can make a motorized slider that's even better than ever. We have Trevor's how to make an iOS phone app that can stream data to Adafruit.io. Good practice if you want to learn how to use Adafruit.io from an app, but also how to read sensor data or how to stream it, or if you're just making your own iOS apps. We have a guide how to use CircuitPython and Arduino to drive piezo buzzers to make tones. So we didn't have a guide for piezos, so this was a nice guide. We got CircuitPython and Arduino taken care of. Custom milled PCBs is by Colin Cunningham.
Yeah.
Sorry. He uses his other mill.
Yeah, I have the
and
pin.
etches a pin.
Do you want to show the pin real quick on the other hand? Do you know where it is? It's over there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just switch to this real quick. You can just put it where you can see it.
Yeah.
Focus, Lady Ada. Focus.
I'm working on it.
Find your inner bird.
So this is a little bird, and it's etched from FR4 double-sided PCB material, and then it's filled with like a paint.
Yeah.
Epoxy.
Colin's a good
and
job
then
with
it's
this.
covered with like this jelly epoxy, like a liquid epoxy that's clear, and then you can just solder pins to it. So it's great for making like little pins and decorations, and I think he even gives you the bird file, so you can use an other mill or any other precision milling machine to do that, and just use a PCB for the design. We also have a guide on how to use the DS18B20, very popular one-wire temperature sensors from Dallas/Maxim. You only need one wire. You can connect as many sensors as you want, so they're very popular.
Yeah.
And we have a guide now for using them with CircuitPython. We have a one-wire library, so you can use any one-wire devices. But in particular, these DS18B20s are well supported, and they're very, very easy to use. You can very easily, much easier than Arduino. Instantiate the object and read the temperature, and you're done. And then, of course, we have this week's 3D Hangouts project, which is the animated LED sand gimbal, which we'll show the video for very soon.
Yeah. And we do have a special treat. This is a preview. I'm kind of putting in a time travel because now you're going to see the future. We have a video. Trevor is talking about Swift Playgrounds. We just finished this video. It's hot off the press. Colin sent it over. Take it away. So this is...
I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, you're going to see it now.
Surprise to me.
Hi, this is Trevor from Adafruit Industries, and I have a cool project to show you. This is our Swift Playground for Bluefruit. Swift Playgrounds is an app for the iPad. The app contains a library of playground books. Each playground book contains a collection of lessons to teach you the Swift programming language. You can also create your own playground book. I made one that works with Adafruit's Bluetooth LE hardware. It also allows the users to control this race car with basic commands. This car uses a feather Bluefruit board along with a DC motor wing. Let's try giving our race car a few simple commands using Swift. And there you go. Follow my Learn Guide at the Adafruit Learning System to create your own playground book with Bluetooth capabilities.
All right, yeah, Trevor started in Fab. He's going to be one of our full-time developers. He's working on our iOS stuff. So
you know
more
what I
ahead.
like about that video? It's on the white background. And it's got that ring light.
Yeah, it's like
it
an
actually
Apple.
looks like an Apple.
Yeah,
awesome.
Apple, call me.
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
But don't try to hire away Trevor.
Yeah.
We need him.
Well, not yet. I mean, we'll see. After we acquire Apple,
Yes.
we could talk about that. We'll do a acqui-hire of Apple. We'll get some of their good folks, and then
Then Trevor can manage
we
them.
got big changes ahead for Apple.
Yeah.
Okay. So Trevor was working on one other thing, and this is also a super cool secret video.
Okay.
This is ARKit.
Yeah,
Right? Do people call it
ARKit.
ARKit, yeah. And it's something we want to do where you can put AIDA Bot anywhere. So here we go.
Which is very useful.
Look, world needs more AIDA Bot.
Shh.
Multiple lead bots. Alright, and
Okay, so the plan is to do more of this. We have a project where we'll be able to show the pick and place machines, and then we're going to tie it into our work order system, and you'll be able to see a 3D model going through the oven or the pick and place machines
yeah.
and seeing what we're making.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then maybe you can have like your own little Adafruit factory. If you're not here, you can like put the machines out and say, "Oh, look,
Oh,
I'm making stuff," but it'll show what we're actually making.
Yeah, it'll be a little
be cool.
DIY factory kit.
Okay, I toss stuff in the time travel section because I don't just put news because it's like, well, this happened, so it's kind of news. So I'm a backer of Dave Jones' multimeter.
Fancy. It's got Bluetooth. It's got like serial out. All sorts
Yeah.
of stuff.
So I collect things in the maker world. I also collect some multimeter. So I'm backer number 545. Okay.
It's a good number.
Yeah. Dave did an excellent job with the videos, the updates, did a nice video to start it, has a big community, did the updates that people needed. I got my survey, I put this stuff in, mine shipping pretty soon. So I was a little surprised when I glanced at something and I'm like, oh, like, this is also on Indiegogo? And I'm like, I didn't understand how this worked. And I started looking around and then for a second, I'm just like, oh, whatever, because we're super busy.
Yeah.
And I already had one. And here's a new thing, and I think I'm going to just like call it now. There are counterfeit, crowdfunded campaigns, and
the campaigns themselves are not like the things that are making are counterfeit. The
no
whole campaign is
there's
counterfeit.
no hardware. So someone took Dave's full text, full everything on Kickstarter. I think they grabbed the video as well.
Yeah.
They got verified on Indiegogo, and they started taking money. And it was there for a while, so I think they had 6 people at $160 each or something.
Yeah.
And so Dave was on vacation, and I feel bad because he was on vacation. He's probably like, great, I'm done with that Kickstarter. Things are shipping.
Yeah.
No, nothing else to do. And then this kind of came in.
Ding dong, yeah.
So I looked on, I'm like, oh, like, let me see what's going on. Dave made a video. I posted it up on our blog. And then to give Indiegogo some credit, they immediately took it down. But this is the thing, like, there's people who will claim their Adafruit on eBay, and there's a mechanism to say don't do that. Amazon, same thing. But this crowdfunding word's a little different. And with Indiegogo, that said verified email. So I'm wondering like what level of verification crowdfunding sites will need to do. This is a new and weird, interesting thing. If you're a trademark holder, there's trademark searches, services that'll tell you, oh, this domain name's registered with your trademark. But crowdfunding is a very different thing.
Yeah.
So this is like a neat unknown. It's kind of like I was obsessed with a couple things recently. One was the post rights for dead celebrities because there's weird things that go along with that. Mm-hmm. Marilyn Monroe, because she's in New York, it's a little weird. You can kind of use a likeness of Marilyn Monroe. This isn't something I want to do. I was just like reading like case law. If you're alive, Samsung made a robot that looked like Vanna White, and they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about the selfie monkey thing, the monkey that took the photo of itself, and it was kind of decided, sort of, still debate, who owns the photo? Non-human entity taking a photo, who owns the photo? So, interesting thing, but I think this is going to be, because there's a crowdfunding law, it's like, hey, you can like form companies and do this stuff with crowdfunds, you don't have to go through the same SEC procedures. So anyways, this is interesting. I hope to revisit it later because I think this is going to be something that it's not that you're going to get a good. You're just putting money into a crowdfunding site that's someone else's successful. So there's no plan to send out the hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Fully counterfeit.
Yeah, it was weird. Okay. So big news in time travel and open source hardware. This is Make Volume 61.
Ooh, fresh.
Congratulations, Naomi, and good work, Make, for doing the right thing. We were brought in to help out a situation that happened, and the end result is we worked back from the ideal. Help a couple parties that it seemed like it was impassable.
Yeah.
And this is the end result. This is shipping. We're going to have some copies in the store. Naomi's on the cover of Make. I can tell everyone firsthand, we are what we celebrate. If you put a woman on the cover of a magazine, she's the first open source hardware publisher out of China. She has 0001 for the OSHWA certification.
Yeah.
It actually changes lives. Like, I was there when you were on the cover of Wired. It does change things. And on the cover of magazines and the pages of magazines, yeah, it's print, you know, but it's also digital, and it also sends a signal that, like, hey, this community is important. They have amazing stories by a ton of authors, and they feature a ton of women in Shenzhen, and it just tells a story. I'm really thrilled that Mick did this.
No, I'm excited to read it because I you know, it's very hard to get information about what people in Shenzhen are making, and I think she probably, you know, she's there, so she instead of just like going with the hype, she's like, no, I know the people who are actually building stuff, who are actually doing a creative electronics work.
Yeah.
And giving us an insight into what's happening in the Shenzhen maker community.
So this is great. Lots of people elevated. Lots of people celebrated. This is what publishers of magazines can do. This is what communities can do. If you know someone cool, I think it was 2 years ago almost, I had sent a note to Mick and I'm like, hey, here's someone to consider. And it was Naomi, and I did a mock-up. So it's neat to see this happen. So I'm a subscriber. That's how I got this one.
Nice work.
Okay. Speaking of magazines, the latest issue of 2600 is out, and you and I have an article. We've been doing a series of articles called Citizen Engineer, and it's all about hacking, making stuff, some like what's okay to reverse engineer and stuff. So it's on newsstands, and if you're digital, you have the ability to get a copy as well. Okay.
Check it out on newsstands. It's the small thing. So you have to look for it.
Other stuff that this is like, it's been writing week for me a little bit. I give myself an hour to write a day at night. So we're robot friends. I just want to get that out there. And we have this poster, Make Robot Friends, Robot Enemy, and that's where AIDA Box came from. And a million years ago, I worked with Sony, and this is footage that I just sped it up, but this is footage when I was on the shoot for the Curio. This was their humanoid robot. And the Sony engineer said, Tyrone, make robot friend, not robot slave. And I took that as like, if we need to be friends with these things that we're writing with our code, and whatever we do, they're going to meet us one day. And maybe we should be cool and clear about what our intentions are with these robots. So like reading to kids, and the Sony philosophy was like, this is an ambassador, and it's a friend, and it's a companion. And it wasn't, Honda had the Osmo at the time, and it would like fetch a paper and stuff. So when I saw, this was the ad that we did too. So when I saw the latest video from Justin Timberlake called Filthy, it had a robot in it. I did a whole review, and it's not, he's going to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So this is like a story because I've been following this. YouTube was created because one of the people who started YouTube wanted to find clips of the wardrobe malfunction incident where Justin Timberlake pulled a piece of clothing off Janet Jackson. Now, Janet got punished. Justin didn't really, and he's back at the Super Bowl. People like me are wondering, is Janet going to be invited back? Because her album sales, the things that she was invited for after that, she kind of got the blame. But she was just like dancing. Like maybe it was planned, maybe it wasn't. But there's a move in this video where the robot does this to one of the women dancers.
Yeah.
And I have the video, and the reason why this got on our radar too is because someone's like, oh, by the way, there's neopixels all over this robot.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'll take a look at it. I'm like, wait a second, like the robot's tethered, and then they forced a robot to do this work, and then she pushes the robot, And then it's going okay. It's like this keynote thing. It's an AI conference. And then like all of a sudden, like Justin kind of controls the robot, but it's a little unclear what's going on. And it's like, all right. And then they force the robot to smoke some type of robot drug. And then the robot's like, okay, this is it. It's NeoPixel time. And the robot's breaking it down. And then the dancers come out. They have less clothes, and he's touching the dancers. And then at the end, I think the robot... I mean,
can a robot actually consent?
I don't know. But the robot at the end releases, I think, microdrones. And what I think happened is, so Justin Timberlake disappears at the end. And I think what the robot did is says, enough's enough. I'm releasing the microdrones. And then it was kind of like a little Black Mirror-ish.
You think it destroys its own creator?
I think the robot's like, enough's enough.
That'd be great.
Or there's a restraining order against Justin Timberlake in the future, because this takes place 10 years in the future.
Yeah.
And he's not allowed to be around the dancer, so he makes a robot that does it.
Oh.
That was one of my ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Justin Timberlake's going to be at the office. His album, Man in the Woods, is on sale now. I'm Casey Kasem. Anyways, here's some factory footage. Okay, and then we have a couple other last videos. This is from the selective solder machine. Meep. And that's the very hot solder that does the through-hole parts, so we don't have to hand solder. And you can see where it's like, go there. See, this is Robot Friend.
Robot Friend.
And this is the outside footage of the bomb cyclone. This is what happened in New York last week.
Pow!
Yeah, that happened on Thursday. That's New York. I had some 3D footage of me walking to the office. It was pretty intense.
Snowy.
Okay, so Bradford's the code. Don't forget that. I have a reminder. 3D printing. Noah and Pedro printing up a storm. Get it? See how I segued into that?
Nice. Nice work there.
Yeah, we have the LED sand video.
But you could call it LED snow.
LED snow. Oh, that's clever. Printing up the storm works too. We write all these jokes before the show.
This is why we stick to engineering.
It goes through multiple revisions with our writers.
In this project, we'll show you how to build an LED physics toy. These LEDs interact with motion and looks like they're affected by gravity. An Adafruit LED matrix displays the LEDs as little grains of sand, which are driven by sampling an accelerometer with an Adafruit feather. The code, written by Philip Burgess, simulates physics by calculating collisions and terminal velocity, You can check out the Arduino sketch on the Adafruit GitHub repo. We designed and 3D printed a special enclosure to allow the circuit to teeter back and forth. We also made a gyroscope so you can spin it on different axes. The 3D files are free to download, and you can get the electronics from Adafruit. If you'd like to build this project, check out the full tutorial on the Adafruit Learning site. We'll start by measuring and cutting wires for connecting the components. A slide switch is used to tie the enable and ground pins so we can turn the circuit on and off. We suggest using heat shrink tubing to prevent the pins from shorting. You can use the side of your soldering iron to heat and shrink the tubing. To make the assembly as simple as possible, the LED matrix and feather are hand wired. Solder the wires from the bottom side of the board to make it easy to attach. 30 gauge silicone coated wires are really nice because they're both flexible and durable. The accelerometer is wired in the same way and mounted on top of the feather with the 3D printed mount. A 3D printed spacer will join the feather and LED matrix with machine screws. A small LiPo battery is safely fitted between the two boards with just enough space for the wires. This circuit sandwich is fitted inside the enclosure and secured with additional machine screws. Install the slide switch to the enclosure by pulling out the tab so it can be snap fitted. The cover is also snap fitted and locks onto the enclosure. To attach the gyroscope, line up the pins with the dimples and just press them together. It's easy to add more grains of LEDs by adjusting the code so you can play around with different variables. We think this is a fun way to interact with LEDs and hope this inspires you to play with different sensors.
Okay, and we have a sped up video.
Yay!
It's a bomb.
A bomb.
Someone said, I'm sure they had a blast designing it. That was a good one.
Ooh.
All right, some other news. 3D
Good
Hangouts
jokes.
happens every Wednesday with Noah and Pedro. Make sure you tune into our YouTube channel and Discord and more. Some Raspberry Pi stuff this week. JP did a video last week. He has, of course, one tomorrow. But this was the PiCade coin collector.
Yep.
So
and
check
he's going
that
to be
out.
working on that tomorrow too as well.
Yeah.
Finishing it up.
And the other thing is Hackspace magazine. I kind of did my review. I
Yes.
thought they did a really good
Yeah.
job with Hackspace. And
Once
they-
a month.
Once a month. So they want you to be a writer. So anyone in Discord, anyone in our community, anyone who's watching this video later on whatever
Even if
platform.
you're a beginner
Yeah, they're looking for
or an
writers.
expert. Doesn't matter.
So there's more places than ever to show and share your project.
Get published.
Get published. It's a big deal. Okay. So we're about to get to new products, so I got to say the code's Bradford and all that.
Yeah.
But we're wrapping up our top 10 stuff.
Yeah.
So we have some, we did top 10 products.
Top 10.
We did top 10 learn guides, top
Top.
10 blog posts.
Top.
So this
Yes.
is the top 10 new products for 2017. You ready?
Okay.
Number 10.
10 was the Circuit Playground Educator Express Pack.
Yeah. All in one. Super cute. Comes in its own lunchbox.
Number 9.
TJ Bot. This is the kit from IBM to use Watson TJ on your desktop as a little robot friend. Talks back to you.
Number 8.
This is the joystick featherwing. Adds a couple buttons and a little analog joystick to any feather.
Number 7.
This is the Google and Raspberry Pi AIY kit. So you can make your own Google Home Assistant using any Raspberry Pi computer.
Number 6.
This is the Feather Huzzah ESP32. Wow, ESP32 in feather format. We squeezed it in, made it work. Works with all of our feather
Number
wings.
5.
Everybody's favorite little microcontroller, the Gemma M0. So cute, so small. One CircuitPython.
Number 4.
This is the sister project, the Trinket M0. It's a little microcontroller, breadboard friendly. Lots of fun.
Number 3.
Microbit. Look at these CircuitPython, MicroPython boards just winning the top slots here. Got a Microbit. It's a lovely project from BBC. You can use MakeCode with it, or MicroPython, or Arduino. Really powerful. Has a little Bluetooth module.
Number 2.
This is the Raspberry Pi Zero W. Wow, it's a Raspberry Pi Zero $10 computer. Comes with a camera connector and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And it's a Raspberry Pi, and it's so small.
And here we go. Number 1 new product of 2017.
What could it possibly be?
Number 1.
You guessed it.
Circuit Playground Express.
Yeah.
Wow, way amazing.
It lines up with
Woo!
the top blog posts and a lot of other tops of 2017. We had an honorable mention, BristleBots.
Well, they're just so cute.
Yeah. One of the things that we've been doing is experimenting with Instagram. So this is behind the scenes of Instagram. So we did
Yeah.
this top 10 list. We figured out how to put all the things
Okay.
in order.
Yeah.
And then you can see each one and how many people looked at it.
Oh.
So this is a video off my phone. You can pump the video out of a phone. And I went through and I'm just like, oh, this is neat. You can see what's there. So we're going to do a lot of fun secret surprises on the Instagram world of just photos. So go to Instagram.com/Adafruit and follow us.
Follow us.
Follow, share, like, and all
It's
that
good stuff.
Yeah.
We will never try to sell you skinny tea.
No,
Just cool electronics.
only blockchain tea. Look, it's
Look, it's coming.
It's tasty. You can drink it later when the transaction goes through. Okay, so late AIDA, it's almost time.
Yay!
Want to do this?
New.
Wait.
So here, go, check it out.
Wait, you have to wait till the thing comes up.
Sorry.
But you can do that again. All right, here we go.
New.
All right, this week, Lady AIDA, what do we got?
Okay, starting off, we've got Nick Toll's book, Programming with MicroPython. Also covers a little bit of CircuitPython, because it's got Circuit Playground Express, but CircuitPython is just a variant of MicroPython. This book is enormous. Let me grab it. Big book. It has a lot of code. Nick Toll is the editor of the writer of the Moo editor and maintainer. This kind of takes you everything you want to build hardware, make projects, and it's not like a Python book where it's like, okay, now import NumPy. Like, it actually teaches you how to build stuff with the the limit of MicroPython, which is it's on this little board, standalone. Doesn't have a ton of memory. You can do a lot, but like you can't necessarily like import NumPy or import Flask. But it'll get you going with using MicroPython, CircuitPython. He's a great guy, and it's a great book. He's working on this all
Nick Toll is a
last year.
fantastic author, and he's also very thoughtful on how he's helping build communities in the Python world.
Yeah, it teaches you hardware and Python at the same time. So this is a good book for people who are
And an
all
important
interested.
lesson. Okay. What's next?
Oh, this is a education kit. So we've got a class kit, and the next one is a classroom pack for a university. So we have it in the store if you want to purchase it. It's for a university program,
Okay.
but it's also available for others.
These are handy.
Okay.
These
Very
are super handy.
These are actually used. These were actually sold for use with GPSs. Like if you have a dash GPS computer and you want to be able to replace the SD card easily because you're like updating maps and stuff.
Or if you're like me and you have cameras that are over there and you just want to like switch out the SD cards because your camera's mounted over there all the time.
Yes,
this works.
Let me show it on the overhead. It's very simple. You get an SD card on this side, and it actually is just like SD card size and shape, except there's a thin cable coming out, so you can probably get it through like, you know, slots and doors and whatever. And on the other side, there's a socket, and it just connects the pins from one to the other. And this is a nice clicky, click out, click in. And it's nice and flat on the bottom. You can glue it, and you have like it's almost 2 feet or so of flex cable. And to test it, we actually hooked this up. We both use it in our replicator because we just don't want to keep having to like, it's kind of annoying to try to grab the SD card. So we mounted it on top so that's easier to get. We also used it with a Raspberry Pi computer. So, and it worked fine. It booted and you can like run Pixel and stuff. So it definitely works at high speeds, but you know, it's a hack. Like you're not supposed to do this, but it seems to work okay.
It's like making super long wires out of the back of the SD card. It's cool.
Yeah, you can do it.
So we have other varieties too.
We also have a micro SD version. Same thing, micro SD card in one end, and then a socket in the other. Just makes it, especially for Raspberry Pis, where it's like it can be a little annoying to try to grab the card out. This can make it really easy for you if you're doing a lot of work with it or you want to mount it elsewhere. Same exact idea. You have a socket on one end and a micro SD on the other. It works great. We booted it with a Raspberry Pi 3. It booted up, worked fine. You know, you can do stuff with it. So yeah.
I have so many devices that are kind of like permanently there, and I always have to like fish out the SD card. This is handy.
Yeah.
Thanks for stocking these.
Yes. No, I showed you like that's handy.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is handy.
Okay, next up. It's a square.
It's a black square.
What does this do?
This is Eon Tech's flexible fabric. This is a spandex nylon fabric. It's very stretchy. It's got a nice hand to it. It feels a little bit like you know, fabric that like workout stuff is made out of. It's got that like shimmery cyber feel. It's flexible. It's stretchy in all directions, and it's got high resistivity that changes a lot. So I thought I'd show it off.
Let's show it off.
It's basically the same demo.
Yeah, but this is live. This is real.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my alligator clips. So I have it hooked up here. Hold on. How is it in range? Hold on. Live demo.
Well, I always got the video.
Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, it came undone.
Wires.
Wires. Okay.
Oh, look at that.
So, like right now it's about 45 kilo ohms. And then when I stretch it, oh, you know what? This material is even more
Oh, you have it on.
Sorry.
You have it on another type of material
that's also conductive.
That's also conductive. These are live demo engineering live show problems. All your fabric's conductive. Yeah, I'll fix it in post. Okay. All your fabrics are conductive.
Well, the table's actually ESD safe too, but it's okay. Okay, so when it's not stretched, it's about 45 kilo ohms. And then if I stretch the fabric, you can see it goes down to about 25 kilo ohms. So it stretches about 2 times, and then the resistance goes down 2 times. So you can use this. It's not very good for passing current because of that high resistivity, kilo ohms, about 20 kilo ohms per square inch. But it's good for stretch sensors, flex sensors. If you want like something to measure strain or movement. It's a really good fabric. It's really easy to sew and stitch. Like it's very fabricy.
Yeah.
And in the data sheet, they even say it can go through 30 washes with no change in resistivity.
Okay, someone was asking about that.
You can wash it, and it works quite well. You would want to stitch it or alligator clip to it. Like this works quite well. I just clipped onto alligators. And then on your other side, you'd have a microcontroller with a resistor divider or some other way of measuring low, high resistive, low current changes. And but it works like very well. It stretches right back and retains that same shape and resistance. So in a sense, it's better than the rubber. I have this conductive rubber, but the conductive rubber never quite. It takes a long time to get back. It's not as springy as this, which is really spandex.
All right, Anton has great jokes tonight. He's like, like stretching the truth. You could put the word truth on it and then stretch it, and it can make different sounds. Yeah. Because like, all there is truth stretching, as far as I can tell. Yeah. In the world right now. Okay.
Okay, so that's the first fabric.
Okay.
It's the conductive stretch fabric.
We have more fabric. this year's fall fashion is conductive.
So that's it. It's it feels
What's this?
good. It's stretchy. It's the same fabric. It's just showing how it wrinkles
Okay.
to give a sense of the softness.
Okay. Well, that's a different color. This is it.
No, it's just the lighting. It's
Oh, yeah?
It's still black. It's just well lit.
Oh, I see.
So it's textured.
Oh, gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have something else.
Okay. We also have this like very low resistivity heater fabric. So this fabric is also from Eon Tech, and this fabric is, the other one was about 20 kilo ohms per square inch, and this one is about like 40 ohms per square inch. It's much, much lower. It's non-woven, so it feels like a felt, like a suede. It's actually kind of what it feels like a little bit, like a papery, suede-y material. It's not stretchy at all, but what's nice about it is you can actually put current through it and it will heat up. It's also like very, if you want to use it to pass power, you could probably do that as well. I have this thermal camera that I thought I would...
Yeah. This is the thermal camera that I kept taking photos of MOSFET with.
But now it's being used for, wait, I have to log into your phone.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
So let me get this going.
Heat it up,
Here.
Lady Ada.
I have to figure out how to show.
You might want to back that out. Yeah.
I'm working.
Okay, look, you can see. Oh man, that's cool. Okay, you got to get
Wait,
it.
hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. Wait.
Our demos are getting complicated.
I know, this is
Watch out, Lady Ada, there's a predator. Danny Glover is like, I'll go get you. And he's like, sorry.
Okay, so here I can actually see, and this is my hand, so you can see how warm I am. So these alligator clips are quite warm, but in between, you're getting maybe, it feels like maybe 50 or 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry, I mean 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's almost as warm as my skin. And this is just 12 volts. I think, it depends on how much voltage you want to put through it, how much current you're willing to put through it. This is also current limited to 1 amp. It will never get like boiling hot, but you can get warm enough maybe to heat something or to keep something warm. Wrap it on some electronics to keep the electronics from getting too cold outside. So it's very flexible, and you can cut it and puncture it, unlike the wire-based heating pads where there's literally wires running through it, and you're like, the wires heat up and it heats up the pad. This is the fabric itself is heating up.
This is
so
full. It's warm.
It's yeah. So it's a fully uniform throughout the fabric.
Okay.
And it's neat. You get like a big sheet of it, so it's kind of fun. You can
Yeah.
cut it however
This
you
is neat.
want.
I have a bunch of ideas. I'll get to them soon.
Yeah, and then what's interesting is like the alligator clips get really warm, so I'll disconnect them. You can see.
So you can make a 70s dance outfit and call it Disco Inferno. By the way, everyone is doing excellent jokes tonight. These are like family-friendly jokes. These are like really good. Keep it up.
Okay, good work. You can see it cooling down. So slowly but surely, but you can also
Heated seats.
You use it for heated seats, but again, it's not going to get really, really hot. It's just warming fabric.
Yeah.
And then you can also use it for EMI because it's such low resistance that you can use it for shielding and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So that's the two fabrics that we
Shield and warm your wallet. Okay.
Yeah. I can also show resistance, but very
Yeah, why not?
show the resistance of. I mean, it
Soon I'll
basically-
have my Dave Jones multimeter, and I'll be able to use that. Because I didn't fall for the fake.
So this is only 49 ohms between these 2 points. So yeah, very, very low resistance. The other one was more like 40K.
Yeah. I just heard there is a San Francisco-based hoodie company called Block Hoodie Chain, and it's made out of this material.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
See, I can keep up with you guys in the chat tonight.
Okay.
All right.
Very funny.
Yeah, here all week. Okay, the star of the show tonight, besides you, Lady Ada, is this.
Yay, it's the PDM mic. It's small, it's simple, but it's actually, I haven't seen anywhere else that sells a PDM microphone. So I'm glad that we stock it. So this microphone is a PDM pulse density modulation microphone. It's the third kind of mic. So the first kind of mic most people get is an electret mic or an MEMS microphone. This is our analog output. And then you can also get an I2S microphone, which has a little chip inside that gives you I2S logic level out. This is the third kind. This is PDM, and this is actually what is usually used in production. Like, if you're actually buying a product, PDM is what they use because it's extremely low cost, and if you have this hardware support, it's very, very easy to read. much easier to read than I2S, which has like, there's like left and right, and you have to have like a full channel set up. This one, it just basically pulses data out with the clock. And the pulses, which are high and low, the probability density of those pulses changes with the audio level. So the upshot is, if you have a chip that has a PDM microphone interface, this microphone is great. It's very simple. You only need 2 pins. You can have 2 microphones, left and right, share the same channel. One does left, one does right, and like if your chip can do all the hardware stuff for you, it's great. If you don't have a PDM interface on your chip though, it's really, really hard to use these because you have to clock them at 1 to 3 megahertz, and like you can't go less than that. It'll actually shut down if you don't give it at least 1 megahertz because it's like, oh, I'm going to sleep now. So we have some code for the Cortex M0, the SAMD21 chips that we use, and I've seen also ST has code for their chipsets. But you really can't use an 8-bit microcontroller very easily. You can with a lot of hacking, but pretty much this is like you have an FPGA or you have a dev kit or a single board computer, and it's like, we have PDM on these pins. This microphone will do wonderfully for you. And I've got a demo for this.
Of course you do.
Well, so this actually, Dean made this demo for me, which is really sweet, because you go to an FFT library. So this is just taking an FFT of the microphone, which we just popped on the back here. And now I'm just going to whistle and you'll see a spike around here. And then maybe I can try whistling higher. And then it auto ranges, so there's not, when there isn't any particularly high frequency, it just sort of has the standard, logarithmic, noisy down here, but then it dies off as you get into higher frequencies they usually get with microphones. But it works great. We use this in the Circuit Playground Express, and there's sometimes I think people might find these useful.
That was a question in the chat. Is that the microphone we use in the Circuit Playground Express?
It is, because it is the cheapest way to add a microphone to something.
Can you whistle the Close Encounters theme song?
No, I don't know it.
It's do 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 do.
I can try.
Try, yeah. That's good.
Okay. I did the best I could. I don't really actually seen Close Encounters.
This means something.
I know.
It builds this mashed potato sculpture. That's cool. Do you want to watch it later?
Maybe watch
Okay.
it. So the thing about PDM mics is they're really, really, really cheap. And basically all microphones that are MEMS are PDM underneath. And then if it's an analog MEMS mic, it actually has a little analog converter. If it's an I2S mic, it has a little I2S converter. But underneath, PDM is what all MEMS microphones emit, basically. So, when we were doing Circuit Playground Express, cost was a big factor. The Cortex M0 has a PDM peripheral, and so we were able to add audio via PDM because it was just it is half the price of anything else because you don't have all this extra circuitry. But if you get those the home assistants that have like 8 microphones, those are going to be PDM mics as well.
Okay.
So maybe you want to build your own if you have a chip that can handle it. That's another thing. You're more likely to get a chip that can handle 8 PDM mics than something that can handle 4 I2S channels.
All right. Good work, Lady Ada. We'll do the recap in a sec. That was the new products for the week.
Right, let me hydrate.
Yeah. You should go ahead and... This is like an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Let's do the recap. New products this week, Lady Ada.
New. We've got Nick Toll's book, Programming with MicroPython. Jam-packed book teaches you everything about hardware and MicroPython with some CircuitPython as well for all the most popular embedded Python boards. We've got 2 Gemma and copper tape classroom packs. If you ever need a classroom pack that has these things in it, we stock it. We have an SD card extender. You have an SD card over there, you can have a socket over here, and then a cable in between. Very handy. 68 centimeters long. We also have it in micro SD format. Micro SD over here. Micro SD socket over there. Works great. Surprisingly effective. We have stretchy fabric that changes resistance when you stretch it. For example, this one goes from about 40 kilo ohms per 2-inch distance to about 20 kilo ohms. You can use it as a stretch sensor or a strain sensor or something, and it's very flexible and nice fabric. You also have heating fabric. You can see this thermal camera showing it heating up when you apply 12 volts across it. It's very low resistivity. It's not flexible and it's not woven. You get about 20 ohms per square inch, but good for making heating fabrics. And the PDM microphone. If you want a pulse density modulated microphone as your project, these very low cost microphones, when you add a peripheral support in your chip, are easy to use and work really well.
And that is the new products.
Huzzah!
Okay. You can get some of these in the store, and on checkout you could be like, boy, if it was
Only
just like
10% off.
10% off.
That'd be nice. You can do it.
That's the code, Bradford. Okay, we're in Discord. We're going to answer your questions for a bit, then we're going to give something away, and then we're out of here. Apparently, we're going to go watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So start asking your questions in Discord. That is the only place we answer the questions. adafruit.it/Discord. Okay. The fabric, is it okay for outdoors if you were to make an outdoor clothing material, either one of them?
I think for the heating fabric, you'd want it underneath a water-resistant layer because, you know, if you're putting voltage across it, you don't want to add water to it. The stretch fabric, I think, would be fine to wear exposed.
Okay. Any suggestions for powering Raspberry Pi for automotive power? Basically, turning on when the engine is started for a safe shutdown, when the ignition is turned off, a delay of a few minutes or wait for the Pi to detect the ignition is off would be nice, so the Pi could transfer some data before shutting down.
Well, you can easily use our read-only file system tutorial if you want to not worry about that at all. Or there's a couple of UPSs, like Raspberry Pi UPS, uninterruptible power supplies that you can probably set up so that when main power is cut, they'll do an orderly shutdown. Okay,
are we gonna carry and or stock the servos that use the Trinamic?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, Trinamic. Feed.
No, I don't know.
Feed 2. Email PT at Adafruit.
I don't know.
They're available at DigiKey. They make 3D printers really silent and give better torque. Yeah, email me PT at Adafruit. Send me the DigiKey link and we'll check it out. We're friends with DigiKey. So
I think you mean stepper controllers, though.
It says servo controllers in the chat. But anyways, send me a note. Check it out. All right, so getting to my question, is there a way to tell on a 32U4 Feather if your USB cable is connected to a computer or just dumps our power supply? I would like my project to intelligently decide how much power is safe to pull.
You know, nobody really listens to that stuff anyways, so you can pull as much power as you want. There used to be this thing where it's like, oh, you're supposed to negotiate for more power, but you can pretty much just draw an amp whenever you want. Every hub has kind of just learned to put up with it. There is a way, but not, it depends on what language you're using. In Arduino, you'd have to check whether the USB was set up or not. I don't know how to do that offhand, but it's language dependent. You wouldn't do it with hardware. You'd have to do it in software.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that person meant Stepper. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll check them out. They're pricey, but we'll check them out. Okay, on the flexible nth light you introduced last week, are they available in other widths and lengths? We're talking to the company. We're going to see if we can get different types and more.
Yeah, they have a couple different kinds. It's just that it was hard enough to get that. It takes a long time to get these samples, and it's a company that isn't, I think, used to selling small chunks to a company.
They emailed me, and they said, we have some other cool stuff. They sent some videos, and I said, send me some samples. So
yeah.
It's neat
we'll
stuff.
Get it.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. LED slurries.
Yeah, okay. Next up, can you use that micro SD card extender for Raspberry Pi?
You can. It works great.
There you go. Next up, how is the PDM mic better than other mics?
It's basically the same as every other MEMS mic because it's what MEMS mic are. It's cheaper because it doesn't have the analog output stage or the I2S output stage. So you can get these mics for about half the price of those other microphones. And if you have a PDM interface, it's easier in some cases. It depends on your setup, but it can be easier to use them than I2S.
Okay. When do you plan on buying Apple? Well, working back on metrics, numbers, financial forecasting, it would take about 30 years. But if things keep going the way we're going, some things may delay it because so far we've not been interested in taking funding and or going public. So that'll change things. However, technology, the companies that were around 30 years ago, a lot of them aren't around today.
Yeah.
Lots can change. But yeah, it would take about, what it is. Use the blockchain.
I like how honest you are.
Well, like, yeah. Okay. Are there any SD card extenders that function as converters as well, micro SD to SD and vice versa?
Well, you can definitely put a micro SD socket into the SD card. The SD card one, there's probably out there something that does micro SD to SD conversion, but as is, these are like, this is what is available.
Okay.
I don't think they were thinking of people who wanted to go from one to the other.
Or could you chain the SD card readers together? It would be a bad idea.
You can absolutely do it. I don't know if it would work because we only tested one at a time.
The worst that can happen is it just won't work. Like,
It just won't work, yeah.
That's a fun experiment to see how many we can chain together.
There is CRC when you do SD cards, so in theory, it would just say your SD card just like stop working.
Yeah.
And
these aren't shielded, so eventually, it's not like a shielded cable either. So eventually, like space bits collide into your data transfer.
Eventually, there's the capacitance and resistance, and you get you get slew. Your slew rate basically can't keep up, and you get these rounded corners, and like, I don't know exactly what frequency you'd hit that at.
This is cool to find out.
But yeah, I think probably about 3 or 4. I mean, you'd be surprised. Like the Raspberry Pi camera cables, like we have the extra long cable. We got a 2-meter cable, and it works great. And you could theoretically extend it even more.
Yeah. Okay, what's the maximum voltage I can run through the passive PoE injector cable set PID 435? I'd like to do 60 volts over 100 meter cable with a custom power supply for Raspberry Pi and motors for an underwater rove.
Well, it's just wires, so I think it's rated. I mean, those connectors tend to be rated for about 24 volts and about an amp or 2. But you know what? Like, it's mostly on the contact, like when you plug it in. If it works, you're probably okay. I mean, It's worth trying. 60 volts is high, but it's not insanely high.
So, a neat suggestion. You could do speed tests on chaining the SD card extenders out.
If you can change your operating system SDIO speed, but oftentimes it's not adjustable.
Yeah. All right.
I don't actually know how you'd even change that. I don't even know.
On a holiday note, because we were talking about Martin Luther King Day, I think Martin Luther King would be a maker. I'd say a peacemaker for sure, and I think everybody makes something. That's the one thing that I think can unite all of us. Everybody makes something.
Yeah. Made speeches.
Made a lot of friends, made people think. But, most of all, everyone has made something in their life. Everyone makes something. I think sometime around like childhood, it's beaten into us that we should just buy stuff. But I think that anyone who looks at this maker community, that isn't just one guy, it's not one person, it's not even a dozen people, it's thousands, maybe millions of people, and it's been going on since human species have been around.
Yeah.
It's something that, it's like cooking. It's like everybody cooks meals. Everyone has made a meal in some way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how it turned out. Everyone's shared a meal. It's something that's powerful that I think our society can tap into. It can bring a lot of people together. Everyone makes something.
Yeah.
That's why the show and tell is nice, because across the spectrum, everyone has something to share that they've made. You just have to feel like there's a place to do it.
Yeah.
And people aren't gonna like tweet it down or comment on a thing or something. You have to find a place where people can say, "Hey, here's something I made, and I want to share it." Okay. Next up. How do I calculate the torque of brushless motors? And that's the last question for tonight.
You want a torque wrench. There's also a couple of people I know who've done online. They show like you can connect a rod to it and you can put a weight and you can figure out the torque that way. But that's really the only way to know.
Okay.
Torque.
All right, lady, those are the questions. Thank you, everybody. Hang out in Discord. People are hanging out all the time.
Torque it up.
We'll do top secret next week.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay. Those are the questions.
We got a lot going on.
Yeah. Let's
This thermal camera.
Yeah. Let's do the trivia question tonight. Lady AIDA, what are the rules?
Rules are first person to call the phone number and answer the 3 magical questions will be the winner. The magical questions are: what's your name, where you're calling from, and what's a project you're working on or you want to work on. The prize will be a copy of the MicroPython book.
That's a good prize.
It's a good prize. if you are not a MicroPython fan, don't enter, or give it to someone who is a MicroPython fan.
That's
Yay!
right.
And you can't win if you've already won before.
Okay,
You
the
know
phone
that.
lines are open. That's the phone number. You call it.
You call it.
You say
You say.
just your first name or whatever name you like, and then you can say a project that you're making, and then maybe a city or a state or a country you're calling from.
Yeah.
So let's see if this
Meanwhile, I'm
works.
going to spin this. This is like so much fun.
It's better than a fidget spinner, I think.
This is like the best 3D printed project in the world. Whoa!
Oh, someone's calling on the telephone.
It's the telephone, Phil.
It's the telephone. Let's see if answer it.
Hello, you reached Ask an Engineer, and you're the winner. Hello? They hung up on me. My feelings aren't hurt.
Maybe they got the wrong number.
You think so?
No.
Okay.
The phone lines are still open. Ohm bit stab.
We're here.
You can go to the overhead for a second. if
Yeah, you wanna show?
Yeah, I got this. This is a startup that does this Bluetooth round LCD pin. So if you notice throughout the show, my pin was changing. You guys can keep trying to call when I do this. Let's check this out. So see, look.
Okay.
Yeah. Do. So I can put all my fun messages on that. Okay. Let's go back to this show thing.
Second time's a charm.
Yeah. All right. Go for it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hello, you reached Ask an Engineer, and you're the winner. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello, you're the winner of our fabulous contest. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay! What's your name and where are you calling from?
Jeff with 1F. I'm calling from San Francisco.
Okay, Jeff with 1F. I'm not going to get that wrong. I killed the last person who spelled it with 2
We,
Fs.
we knew a guy with 3 Fs
Or
once.
3 Fs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I
Glenn
can't
with
even
2
imagine.
Ns. Yeah.
No, it's not good. Well, you're the winner
Well,
of
I
this.
used it for free, but that was ridiculous.
Too many Fs.
Je-
Yeah.
Jeff is efficient because you don't need extra. He's like a fixie bike.
It doesn't actually matter how many Fs you have.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, with 1F from San Francisco, what's the project you're working on or you want to work on?
I am working on the circuit playground, and I'm building a oscilloscope.
Ooh, that's nice. All right, these are some cool projects. Well, you're going to win this amazing book by Nick Toll. I'm using MicroPython. Maybe you know Python, maybe you don't. Give it away or use it.
you do now.
It's a wonderful book. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com, SUPPORT@adafruit.com, and say, hi, I'm Jeff with 1F from San Francisco, and I would like to win, what's the product ID? 3706. So just say 3706, and they'll be like, oh, we know what you're talking about, Jeff with 1F. And then they're going to send you this book. And then you'll build something really cool, like an oscilloscope.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, well, thank you for calling.
Thanks, Jeff.
And when you build your project, come on, show and tell. We'd love to see it.
All right.
All right,
Talk
have
to
a
you
great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, you can always call our phone number and leave us a nice message. We play those at our weekly meeting, company meeting too. Yeah. All right. Well, if you didn't win, you can still win on checkout. You'd be like, well, if I enter this secret code, I get money off my order. The code's Bradford. That's the show for tonight, Lady Ada.
Yay, thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone out there in the community, all the folks in Discord, all the Adafruit team members, all the remote team members. Thanks, everyone, for building this cool community. I really meant it. Everyone makes it. It's a way we can all come together. I'm going to put my button back on.
That button is so cool.
Yeah, so this is a startup that I got two because I want to take one apart. And I only had time to just quickly put a couple logos on this, but you can beam photos from your phone to it. And it's like a pin. You could say like, oh, like...
Well, it's funny because it's you using the Android watch OLEDs that are available now.
Yeah.
Like, if you can tell, these startups are like scavenging.
So, I have a Circuit Python pin right now.
Yeah.
But it'll cycle through.
It looks good from far away. You can't even tell it's lit, because it's got such high contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, good work.
So I thought that was neat. Okay.
Nice.
Well, thank you, everybody. We'll see everybody next week. Same AIDA time, same AIDA channel, off the AIDA chain.
With 1F.
Yeah. Here is a picture of MOSFET the cat.
Thanks, everybody.
And here's your moment of Zener.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
You